My name's Walter. I turned 79 a few months ago. The very first thing I do every morning is open my window. Not because I need fresh air. I do it to make sure I can still hear the city waking up. There was a time in my life when I didn't even have a window to open.
When I was 15, my alarm wasn't a clock. It was the bakery oven firing up at 4 in the morning. I'd sweep the floors, haul 50-pound bags of flour, and head home smelling like bread before most people had even gotten out of bed.
I never hated working. What I hated was believing my life would always look the same. One morning, this older guy walked into the bakery. Nice boots, simple clothes, nothing flashy. But every time he bought something, he pulled out a little notebook. "Who's that?" He said, "He owns 5 stores." I couldn't believe it. If the guy owned 5 stores, why was he still buying his own bread? My boss smiled. Then he said something I'd never forget. People think successful folks stop learning. Truth is, they never do. That night, I bought the cheapest notebook I could find. I didn't write dreams. I wrote mistakes. How many times I was late. How many times I lost my temper. How much money I wasted. Every night, I'd read that list. That little notebook taught me more than any classroom ever did. A few years later, I became the manager of a warehouse, then a small store, then eventually a distribution company. People thought I was the smartest guy in the room. I wasn't. I was just the guy who went home every night asking, what can I do a little better tomorrow? That one question changed my life. I've met people way smarter than me, better grades, more talent, more opportunities, but they kept waiting for the perfect job, the perfect business, the perfect timing. Years passed, and they were still waiting. Life doesn't reward people who wait. It rewards people who move, even if they move slowly. Here's something I learned way too late. Most people think success starts when life changes. It doesn't. Life usually stays exactly where it is. You change first. Then life starts catching up. When I turned 50, I decided to learn computers. My kids laughed. Watching me type was painful. I'd hit the wrong keys, stare at the screen, ask questions every 5 minutes. But I kept telling myself, the day you stop being willing to look like a beginner is the day you start getting old. Getting older isn't about birthdays. It's about convincing yourself you've got nothing left to learn. Don't ever be embarrassed to start from scratch. Be embarrassed if fear keeps you standing in the same place year after year. And please, don't compare your life to what you see online. I've known men with expensive cars who couldn't sleep at night. I've known a bike mechanic who sang while he worked every day. He sang because he didn't owe anybody a dime. Success isn't what people see. It's the peace you feel when your head finally hits the pillow. If you asked me today, what's the most important skill a young person can build? I wouldn't say coding. I wouldn't say investing. I wouldn't even say AI. I'd say this. Keep the promises you make to yourself. If you say you'll get up at 6, get up at 6. If you promise yourself 10 pages, read 10 pages. Because if you can't trust yourself, the world won't either. After all these years, I'm not proudest of the jobs I had or the money I made. So if you're watching this and you feel like you've already fallen behind, listen to an old man for one more minute.
Life doesn't care how many times you got knocked down. It only asks one question. Did you get back up this time? So when this video's over, don't just feel motivated. Do one thing. One small thing. Today. Not tomorrow. Because your future doesn't begin when your life magically changes. It begins the moment your daily habits do. Good luck. I'll be rooting for you.